If I were to ask you, and I'm pretty sure the answer to this question probably involves lectins, but if I was to say what foods you would encourage people to stay away from, what are the most detrimental foods people could be eating, what would you say?
Yeah, and you'd be right that one of our biggest problems of recent times are we eat a lot of foods that contain plant defense compounds called lectins. And one of the most famous is gluten in wheat, rye, and barley. By the way, for anyone eating their oatmeal this morning, there is a protein in oats that mimics gluten. So even if you're eating your certified gluten-free oats, I can assure you that oats will act exactly like gluten in your body. Sorry about that. Um, so yeah, grains in general are troublemakers. Even, ancient grains like quinoa. Um, there's two grains that are actually don't have any lectins, millet and sorghum. So those are perfectly safe. Beans that have not been properly cooked or pressure cooked also are full of lectins. And the nightshade family, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, white potatoes are actually loaded with lectins. Now, they're primarily in the peel and the seeds. And interestingly, cultures that eat these foods, like the Italians, always make tomato sauce uh, after peeling and de-seeding their tomatoes. In fact, I'll tell you a fun London story. We mentioned off camera that I was a senior registrar at the Hospital for Sick Children in London at Great Ormond Street in my training. And one of my house officers was Bruno Merzi from Italy. And I decided to have Bruno and his wife over to our house and make him some spaghetti with tomato sauce pasta. And so I've got a can of tomatoes and I dump them into the pan and he's looking, he said, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" I said, "What?" And he says, there's peels and seeds. And I said, "Yeah, so that's how you make tomato sauce." He says, "Oh, do I have to teach you everything? Everybody knows you cannot make, pasta sauce with peels and seeds." I said, "What do you mean everybody knows?" He says, "They're dangerous. They're poisonous." And I actually had to look it up. And it's one of the starting points of where I said, wow, what does he know that I don't know? So
Well,
a fun London story.
yeah, yeah, I love that, and this is what I love about the book. There's a lot of practicality in the do's and the do nots, and one of the do nots was don't eat lectin-rich plant foods, and one of the do's was do eat prebiotic fiber-rich plant foods. Now, what are some examples of those you can tell us?
Yeah, that's a great question. And most of us, sadly, now know that one of our problems with the modern diet is that it's so refined, so processed that we've really eliminated almost all fiber from our diet. And sadly, the fiber that we're told to eat is what's called insoluble fiber, like bran. Unfortunately, our gut bacteria can't eat that sort of fiber. What they want is soluble fiber. Some of the best examples of soluble fiber is, for instance, asparagus is loaded with soluble fiber. The chicory family of vegetables, radicchio, Belgian endive, frisee, chicory, are loaded with soluble fiber. Tubers like yams and sweet potatoes or rutabagas are loaded with soluble fiber. And it turns out that study after study shows the more soluble fiber that we eat, that our gut microbiome, what I call our gut buddies, this is food that they actually have to grow and divide, number one, but they transform these prebiotic fibers into a term that most people still haven't heard of, that is called postbiotics. And the terminology keeps getting more confusing. Probiotics are friendly bacteria, and most people get that. Prebiotics are the fiber that the friendly bacteria need to eat. And when they eat the prebiotics, they make postbiotics, which are short chain fatty acids like butyrate, like acetic acid, vinegar, and a whole bunch of interesting gases that actually are signaling molecules that tell mitochondria what to do, tell our brain what to do. And one of the sad things is that one of the reasons we're all depressed and we're all anxious is that we no longer have a set of gut bacteria that are fed enough to make these compounds that really improve our health. And so the book is a guidebook of, okay, look, don't eat for your tongue, this 2x3-inch piece of muscle. Eat for your gut buddies. And if you eat for them, I guess what? They'll take care of you. Let me give you a really important study that I mentioned in the book. They took some Chinese volunteers and they put them on either a 7 or a 14-day water fast. That's all they got. And anyone who's tried it, it is challenging, and you get pretty doggone hungry after a few days, and then it gets better. But they divided it into two groups. In one group, they gave 100 calories a day of prebiotic fiber. Now, the important point of that is we cannot digest fiber. We cannot get any calories out of it, but our gut microbiome can. And so what they found with just 100 calories of prebiotic fiber, the group that got that had absolutely no hunger despite 14 days of just water. Now, why is that? Well, these researchers propose, and I like it a lot, the gut-centric theory of hunger. And that is that our true hunger actually comes from our gut microbiome. And if we give them what they want to eat, they go, hey, yep, our needs are met, we're good, carry on. But with our food, we've starved the gut microbiome. And so we're constantly hungry because they're going, what the heck? You keep eating and there's nothing coming down here for us. Go find something. And I really like that theory. And I think it explains and gives people some hope that if we just manipulate our diet and eat some of these foods, it's amazing how the cravings go away.